Their goal? To spread awareness and education on substance and alcohol misuse in Clark County. It starts with the parents and helping them discuss this with their kids. And joining us this morning to talk more about it is Diane Anderson and Randall Colquitt. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
We appreciate your time this morning because we really want to focus on talking to the parents. So let's talk about this. Please shed light on why it is so important for parents to talk with their kids about underage drinking as well as substance use and misuse.
Yeah, great question. So it's important for parents to talk with their kids about underage drinking and substance use because parents have significant influence on their children's lives and with their decision to experiment with alcohol or other drugs or not. So we really want parents to talk with their kids and really tell them the risks and harms of using on their children's brain development and other health risks that occur.
And when you're breaking it down, when you look at the difference between what marijuana was compared to years ago, what's the difference in today?
It's scary. So when I don't want to say but back in the 60s and the 70s, the THC level in marijuana was like 2 to 3%. Today's marijuana, the THC level is at 30%. And when the kids are getting a hold of the concentrates that they're vaping, those can go anywhere from a 20% to a 90% THC level, which is frightening when you think about that. And they don't realize it. They're following the crowd. They're getting the little, capsules that pop into their vape pens, and it is frightening.
It is, when you break down those numbers, such a huge difference from what it used to be.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and edibles are a whole nother story. Edibles can be an entirely different story depending on, who's baking them and what they're putting in them, and the kids don't realize it until after they ingest, and then it's too late.
And when you're talking about kids, how easy really is it for them to get a hold of marijuana or even alcohol?
Oh, well, alcohol has been something that, has been a sore thumb all over the country, but especially here in Vegas. And kids can, readily walk into just about anywhere they want. Convenience store, liquor stores are a little bit harder, grocery stores, and we don't have a great. They're not checking ID like they should be. I mean, it's pretty simple because all they do is swipe the card or put in the driver's license date or whatever. But they're accessing alcohol. Now, we did have a program years ago. It ended in 2016, which gave us the opportunity to pay law enforcement overtime to do all those compliance checks, and they called them stings years ago. So compliance when we started here in Vegas was about at a 47% compliance. With that money to law enforcement, we were at a 98% compliance throughout the state. And now we're all the way back down to like a 45% compliance because it's that easy to get a hold of. They're not checking ID. They're getting it from parents. They're getting it from their homes. They're getting it from their older siblings. They're going over to their friend's house and getting it. And now we have the added bonus of, yay, we have a law now that they can deliver, right? So that is a whole nother story. We haven't done anything with that piece yet. Again, years ago we did that. And I actually had alcohol delivered to my home as a part of a news story. And my 10-year-old granddaughter signed for a case of wine, and they didn't even ask for an adult. So these are the kind of things that we're running into all over the place.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but we just have about a minute left. So then when we're taking action, what should parents then be looking for on those warning signs, and what can we do?
Well, warning signs, there's so many of them, right? So shifts in mood and personality, behavioral changes are another huge one. Hygiene, they tend to kind of, slack off on taking care of themselves. They have that parents sometimes don't recognize the smell that's on them. And then, physical health is a huge thing because all these things have a huge effect on their bodies and their brains as they're growing. So those are the 4 real categories that are of great importance when you're looking at that.
Is there a place that our parents at home that are watching now can go to learn more information on really how to get involved in?
Sure, they can go to our website at www.carecoalitionnv.org. There are many resources. They can go to SAMHSA, samsha.org or .gov, and there's a ton of information out there. They just have to look and be very, very vigilant about talking to their kids. And it's not a hard conversation once you start into it.
Well, both, we appreciate your time this morning, really shedding light on these statistics, which my mind's blown a little bit on how different it is just from a few years ago. So we appreciate both your times, and I know there's an event coming up in July that we'll have more details about at a later time. So we appreciate you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Talk, they hear us. It's the new campaign that CARE Coalition is implementing from the SAMHSA. For more details, just head to carecoalitionnv.org or call the number listed right there on your screen.